Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming at you with a review of Visions of Atlantis' brand new album, Pirates 2 Armada. So, Visions of Atlantis is a pretty interesting band in that they really only became well known about 15 years into their career. Their first album was 2003, 2004 or something, but it was only around 2018, 2019 with Wanderers that they started to make a big name for themselves. They also switched gears and became kind of a pirate metal band, evident from the title, I hope. Stylistically, the band is kind of typical symphonic metal. Even though they have the pirate theme, they really do not sound like Ailstorm. I think that would be a fun tour combo because it's not the same thing for like 3 hours. But to get back on track, this is Pirates 2. 2 years ago, the band released an album just called Pirates, cementing that this was not a fad that they were chasing and is actually their new identity. And what's interesting to me is that the band has actually developed quite a bit in the 2 years since Pirates. It is perhaps a true successor, but it's not a clone. To use a cliche example, consider Ride the Lightning after Kill 'Em All. That is, of course, it is still Metallica, but there's an obvious evolution and maturation. The production is top-notch. The way the guitars and synths were mixed together is amazing. They're not stepping on each other, and it actually sounds almost like one instrument, even though it's very obviously not. So let's talk about it. There's actually a worthy intro track to this song. A lot of times I will make fun of the obligatory 90-second ambient atmospheric intro as just being a cliche thing. I think it works really well here because it seamlessly flows into the first track, Land of the Free. Land of the Free was a total highlight. It works great in an album sequence, probably not as a single, but that makes me appreciate it so much more. In that respect, not stylistically, but just in terms of how the song functions, I was reminded of most of the album Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche. Those songs are amazing and they help tell the story. It's just hard to put it on the radio. It's kind of a build-up track. I don't want to say a sleeper hit. One that works a bit more slowly than a lot of singles, which are meant to catch your ear in the first 10 seconds, but perhaps fizzle out afterwards. I truly respected this track as one of the maturation points I was talking about. I think it would be very easy for a band with this much talent to write a bunch of 9 cookie-cutter anthem tracks that nobody is going to view in a serious musicianship light, but just be like, oh yeah, that song slaps, and then kind of forget about it after a little bit. This is the kind of song that I think builds a fan base. It's just a great mood setter with very focused songwriting and not chasing a hit. Of course, the vocals from both Meeks and Clementine are fantastic, but what grabbed me about this one was the whole package rather than any individual element. The track Tonight I'm Alive. This is a very different track for them. The song has a reggae beat, it feels like a total Caribbean song, but it takes itself way more seriously than the obvious comparison, which is Tortuga by Ailstorm. I first discovered Visions of Atlantis aboard 70,000 Tons of Metal. You're all probably aware, floating heavy metal festival that docks somewhere in the Caribbean. And when you get off the ship, there's often a bit of a beach party going on where they're playing metal. I think this track would be perfect for that setting. Or on board. Armada. So this was the first single. It's the title track in a way of the album, and I think it's earned that status. It's very fun. It's anthemic. I saw Visions of Atlantis back in April with Corpaclani, and I can say it was way better live even. At the heart of it, pirate metal is supposed to be fun, and they have done that in spades here. The Dead of the Sea. This is a really kick-ass epic track. I think it's over 7 minutes long. It's way longer and more ambitious than I think I've ever heard from Visions of Atlantis. It's adventurous, which seems like an obvious word for a pirate metal band, but more so than I've ever heard from them. The song is one of those journey songs. It keeps going, it keeps moving, it moves you, it takes you somewhere. It's not just verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. I turned my volume up for this song, and something I always appreciate is that this guitar solo was climactic and it served the song and actually raised you, just like the rest of it did. Collide. On the other side of things, this track is a bit more commercial, but I think this would make a fantastic crowd sing-along. Not quite as adventurous as Armada, but the similar fun, anthemic, we're all in this together vibe. Kind of funny because with a title like that, I bet the lyrics are about anything but. See also Jamie's Crying by Van Halen, which is a pretty upbeat track about a girl who's sad. Last but not least, Magic of the Night. This is a great melody and an overall great track. This, again, gave me a movie vibe. I know I didn't say that about some of the previous tracks, but this one totally sold it. I see this being in an adventure movie. It could be pirates, but also it's good enough that it could fit somewhere else, where we see a young, furtive adventurer meet a sage the day before he sets sail. The adventurer is unsure of himself and does not know what the future will bring and is afraid to leave home, but meeting this sage tells him he must venture on and find himself and seek out the life he wants to have lived when he's older. It's that kind of propitious feel. It's always hard making a sequel to an album, and I sometimes wish bands didn't try to do it. As much as I like Bat Out of Hell 2 by Meatloaf, it's nowhere near as good as the first. But here's a rare example where the 2 is probably better than the first. It's great to see the band evolve without losing their style. I can't wait to see whatever the next album is like, because I hope they keep moving in this direction and growing as songwriters. Thanks for this, dudes. Rock on.